Hello, everyone. Welcome back. We are going to dive back in. There's a bunch of PRs and activity from the material design project that came up the last few days, so we're going to get those reviewed and merged in, and then planning on diving back into MSI work on Velopack. That is what I have been spending my nights working on. Quick update for anybody interested: no stream next week, so I will be gone to the Microsoft MVP conference. Unfortunately, there's a good chance I won't be able to share most of the information that I learned there. At least, typically not until after build. Um, Usually, the build conference is when a lot of the big updates and notifications and that kind of stuff comes out. So stay tuned. But there will probably be cool stuff that comes in the next several months. And on that note, if you haven't signed up for Microsoft Build, it is definitely worthwhile. They do online streaming of most of the sessions. Obviously, you can't take part in a lot of the in person events, but if you're just interested in session content, it is a great thing to do. Okay, let's dive in. So, if I can find my button. So, pull requests. So, there's this one here. And this issue came up. So I saw Jay Booth log this issue, which was pretty good analysis. Effectively, this update attached properties was firing fairly rapidly, and it looked like um, that it was potentially being hit from multiple threads, or at least being changed midway through on an invocation. And so went through and opened a pull request. And I thought this pull request was a beautiful example, so I kind of wanted to just showcase it for a moment. So this is a perfect example of what to do when you are dealing with threading problems. So the 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 obvious question is when you see something like this, right? What is the problem here? And the issue is when you have a property in C sharp, the property getters are effectively method calls, right? If you imagine, just a couple little parens on the end of this observable object and then the other one here, it kind of becomes a little more obvious. The idea is you're invoking that getter method twice. And for things like auto properties, they're probably going to return you the same thing every time, probably the same instance, but they might not. Something could change that value such that the getter returns a different value back to you. The same problem would occur if this was a field, right? If you read that field twice, another thread could come in and modify it out from under you such that when you read it the next time, it's nice that you checked it for null, but the next time around, you've got no guarantee that it'll be non-null. So the common trick here, or technique, I guess, is worth noting, is at least in C sharp is to go with pattern matching. Now it doesn't have to be pattern matching. The basic technique says invoke the getter and cache the return value from the getter in a local variable. Now pattern matching in C sharp just gives us a way to do that in one line. So that's kind of convenient because we can declare a local variable, check it for null, and then drop inside an if non-null. So we can do all of that in a single statement in C sharp, but the basic premise is stored in a local variable. And the reason is because local variables are thread safe by definition. That's pretty cool. So if local variables are thread safe by definition, then it means that now that we've checked this guy for null, all of these calls are going to be safe because we've cached this value. Now, it doesn't guard against somebody mutating something about this object, but at least this instance of the object we guarantee is going to be non-null for the life of this if condition. So very simple, easy change. I saw Nikolai had already approved it. I just didn't merge it because I wanted to show it off. And so we are going to bring that sucker in, and I think somebody already moved the issue into 5.3. Good. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. Okay, perfect. That one goes there. And then I've got my T unit stuff, which the only thing here and the only reason this didn't merge is all of my async calls. The analyzers are wanting to flag and have me pass the cancellation token through, which is a good thing to do, and I appreciate that it has that, but it means I have to update a lot of different stuff. Right, so this one here, and let's take a look at this issue in question, right? So, So auto suggest box input text disappears after deselecting suggestion and pressing tab enter. Let's see. If I intentionally deselect an item using the up down arrow keys. So let me see here because I'm curious if this is expected behavior or not. So we've got the drop down open. We intentionally deselect and then press tab or enter. The text disappears. Interesting. Trying to think what the expected behavior is here because I think the desired behavior is for it to more or less mirror an editable combo box in a lot of cases because the auto suggest box is designed to be somewhat similar. It's just because the combo box doesn't have good matching behavior. Let's see. If I intentionally deselect an item using up down arrow keys and then tab or enter, text disappears. Okay, so let's go in here. Let's see. Currently, the users can know the selected item using the up down arrow keys. I also tried to add a test for this, but I can't get it to work. Might be a me problem, but couldn't figure out how to access the item source suggestions of the auto suggest box. Instead of the actual suggestion, I got back a list of characters saying collection. Well, let's take a look. This sounds like a very interesting problem. Okay, so this guy here is checking the. Ooh, this gives me a bit of pause, specifically because this is trying to check if we are at the last item or not, right? But the only issue with a line like this is this in order to do count curly brace, this is the link count method. And so in order to count it, it has to iterate through the entire collection. So as the collection increases, the performance of this method goes down. Now that's not always true because it like count has short circuits in link for things that are like collection or list based. But in this case with the cast to object, I kind of suspect we will lose all of that. But make sure there's no more comments down here. Great. Okay, let's take a look at this. Let's take a look at this. So 3815, we go here. 3817. Did I just read that wrong? Well, this is the issue. Pull request is 3817. Okay, yes. So short version, I can't read. That's okay. Like, boy, let's see. Checkout. And then Control Shift E to fire up my Visual Studio. Do not recover. My computer was chasing some very interesting bugs today. My work project involved tracking down issues that were crashing the runtime. So that was exciting. Short version, unmanaged memory sucks. Well, sucks to debug. I'll put it that way. Pain in the neck. Eventually tracked it down after like 4 hours, but we got him. Okay, so let's take a look here and see. So this is auto suggest box tests around 165. We'll start with the UI tests. Auto suggest box text. And I assume it's probably the last one or thereabouts. Yep. Okay, so, and then in particular, the issue came with, I want to look at that highlighted line, where it was getting the item source back. And this might be a case where suggestion box gets suggestions. Yeah, so let's see here. So we have load user control, auto suggest box with template as auto suggest box, which is fine. All right, so this is probably a user control or similar. Looks a heck of a lot like it. Where is it though? Is it under samples? Yeah. Okay. So here's the XAML we're working with. Okay. So there's an auto suggest box at the root. There's some suggestions and all of that jazz. Great, 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 great. Anything on the code behind worth noting? Not a ton here. Could update it to some new fancier syntax, but nothing major. Okay, pulls the element to get the pop-up. Inside the pop-up, pulls the list box, which is what actually displays. Let's see, moves the keyboard focus to the suggestion box. Sends the input E to get it to pop, and then waits. And then this here looks like the line in question that was failing. So this is calling get suggestions. And what is, because this is a generated one. This is kicking back an IEnumerable. I'm kind of curious. So I kind of want to just run this by itself before I get too carried away and just see what that comes back with. Because I am worried that we're getting an item of an item here. But this is the suggest box. And the auto suggest box does have a suggestions property. And this might be the kicker here is this is a non-generic IEnumerable. I would have kind of expected this to work, but find out. The Mountain Dew, the sweet nectar of life. Okay. Come on. Build, compile, go, 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 go. I think my computer's still resisting after I subjected it to massive memory load earlier. Because it was great, chasing a memory leak that will just literally consume as much RAM as you have. Okay, so that got us to there. Oh. So this is actually probably an issue with the way XAML test gens. It is blindly creating this. So the problem here is XAML test has to effectively, because there's two processes running, right? There's the WPF app that's being executed that contains all the XAML, and then there's your test app. And these two have to talk to each other because they are not the same process. They are different processes. That's the big thing. And they kind of have to be separate processes because WPF has like app level startup stuff that you can't reinitialize once you've started. And so that's how XAML test works is it spins a brand new WPF process. That way it can guarantee that it's starting in a fresh state and then can manipulate stuff. Now, that means that you have to be intelligent about how you write your tests because you don't want to do that on every test because that would be slow. But it does mean that you have the ability to test an app fully up and running. So the issue here, though, is I strongly suspect that what is happening is this guy is two-stringing the class, and that's what's coming back. That is almost assuredly what is happening. Let's see here. If we go up the top, oh, it is attaching the debugger to the remote process. So we can grab this on the other side. That's kind of annoying, though, that it's doing that. How would we send that back? How would we send that back? Because in this case, Suggestion bot get suggestions. Count non-generic enumerable. Yeah, and this is fine. Like, this is not a horrible way of doing it, but I think the easier option here is to work around the limitation, because if this is a collection view, there's no good way to serialize a collection view that I'm aware of. I mean, you kind of can, but I'm trying to think of how I would do that. You almost need to, like, at some point XAML test needs to be updated with like fully remote object rather than this serializing of the objects back and forth, because when you retrieve a value back with XAML test, like this visual element is more or less fully remote, because when you're acting on this, it's not actually the list box itself. It's an object that when you say, for example, call get suggestions on it, it makes a call back across to the other process to say, give me the suggestions property. And so it's remoting all of those calls back and forth. But that does mean when you ask for values, it functionally has to serialize them in order to get something all the way back, which makes it mildly more difficult. Yeah. Looking to see why I'm being pinged. Okay. So I think what we would do here instead, though, is rather than going after, because this has a view model, and at the end of the day, what we really want is suggested things, right? So let's clean this up, and I think we can go primary constructor on that guy. We can do collection initializers. We can do collection initializers, which I've really started to love in C#. One of those things took a little bit, but they're slowly growing on me. Because I think that makes our life a little bit easier. We will reach across to the view model. I think what we're going to do here, give ourselves a nice injection point to be able to invoke, I think. Because we could do something like suggest box. How do I get myself to a... How do I get myself all the way to the view model? Look through. I thought we had some samples in here of doing such. No, this. You up too? Oh yeah. I'll suggest box with template. Yeah. I think on some of these we have gone through and implemented callbacks to be able to get the data that we want. I think that probably makes our life a little bit easier. What? How to go about grabbing this? Because part of me is really tempted to just... Why is this an observable collection if we always just assign to it? Doesn't need to be an observable collection if we're always just assigning to it. I think, where do we give ourselves code behind these stuff? I'm wondering if we ever use, or if we always just get it indirectly. Let's try the. I wrote this library. I should know this. Let's see. Visual element. I wonder if we can get away with this. We're going here. View model gets await. I wonder if I can get the view model back. I think we can. I think we can. Get data context. Auto. I wonder if I should try to do a collection view just serialized as a list. The problem is then you have to serialize the view models in the list. What are we actually trying to do here? We just want the count. That's really what we're after, is the number of items in the box. Actually, why can we not just get that? I collection view CV. Source collection. I think we can get away with this. And what I'm thinking is we should be able to get property, and then I should be able to do item source dot source collection dot count. I think. Get property, and what does this give me back? I have to cast it in order to get something useful from it. Can't remember if this, because it uses reflection to walk through the properties. So I think I can get away with just arbitrarily invoking this way and getting it down to something a little more literal. Okay. Oh, this is not going to work because I typed the wrong thing in. This needs to be suggestions. Because the implication here is that suggestions is, well, this thing is a list. So I should be able to just do dot count on it without worrying about going through a collection view. I should be able to do that. So the question is, can I? No. That no worky. Probably should. Could not find property with name suggestions count on auto suggest box. Okay. Get property. Can I... Trying to remember where the callback is. If I call get as, I can try to send it as something that might be serializable, but we're asking for, like, I want to not. Property. Is there a way around this? It has overloads for dependency property, get property, I value. The type that contains the property. Yeah, that's going to be a problem. Go. About that? Okay. So, how would we go about doing it? Let me just open XAML test real quick. Why not have it open? Fetch the remote. Let's go to master. Let's see. I don't want to be on remote master. And then let's open this guy because I almost want get property to let me do something a little more ingenious. Okay, I want to look at my tests. And I want... let's see, test cleanup. Get element, get element, get element. My bad spelling. S reorder. It's because get property G, I don't know if I wrote specific tests for because it gets indirectly tested in so many other cases. Ordinance. I'm somewhat tempted to just add the functionality. Stop it. Stop helping me. Visual element, because it's these converters that end up doing it. And because there is no go to implementation. Because there's no converter for iList of generic view model, like that's not something that's going to exist. Query. Let's find element. Remote execution. We could remote execute a method. You know, that might be the path of least resistance. Go back here real quick. I wonder. I think we have a sample of this. But none. Oh. That's clearly a real valuable one then. This is built for that. Let's see. S. Why do I not see anything leveraging it? Okay. Big head out of the way. Then validation, like there's all of the stuff there. Show me the tests. Ah, this is the dirty trick. This is the dirty trick. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Static void. Get suggestion count. We can do list of suggestion thing. Yep. And then what we can do is we can remote execute guy. So remote execute is a kind of a wacky situation where you can remotely execute a method and the other, so this method will execute in the context of the other process, so the WPF process. But you can declare the method in your test project. We can go auto suggest box, auto suggest box, and then we can do auto suggest box dot suggestions dot count dot length. What is this? Oh, this is the enumerable. Well, let's just do dot count of type object. We'll do the slow way, right? And then we are going to return count. Then this becomes an int. And then what we can do here, we'll do nullable int, I guess. That's fine. And then down here, what we can do is we can do item count, get rid of this, right? And we can do int item count gets suggest box, remote execute, get suggestion count. And that needs to be a nullable int. Okay. And actually what we'll do is we'll just do this. If this comes back as null, we'll just do that. Okay, so I think this works. And because we're debugging both processes, we're going to grab it here. And I expect to go bing, bing, bing and hit all 3 breakpoints. We should hit this one, then this one, then this one. There's that. F5. There we go. We get the suggestion box. We can access the suggestions in real time. We can get the count back. And now we have the item count of 4. Ha ha ha. That's better. Okay, so we'll clean this up. Clean this up. I don't think we need this or any of this. We don't need this anymore. We don't need this anymore. Now, I think we can just blind run this test. And then we'll write up a nice reply for Corvin's. Since this confused living daylights out of me as well. Green test pass. Yay! Okay, so I will, let's see, here. Let's see, what do we got? Let me back to the other side. Okay, so let's look at the changes. So we have cleanup. I don't know that we need this cleanup here. Don't necessarily need that cleanup there. This is what we need, right? So, and I think rather than pushing back, I'm going to go code suggest. Then we're going to send it. And so what that has done, if we go back to our PR, then we're going to add a little more context here. Okay, so let's see. So what is happening is XAML test runs 2 processes, one for the tests and one for the WPF app. For all of the dependency properties, it generates extension methods for the getters and setters. However, for the values to flow back and forth from the WPF process to test process, they must be serialized. Is fallback is to just toString the value, which is why you see that result. There is escape hatch option. Which lets you declare a method in your test code that will be executed from the WPF process, as long as you make its return type something that can be serialized and pass back whatever you want. The suggestion below, I do this to get the count of the suggestions by directly acting on the auto suggest box. Okay, update comment. There we go. So we'll let Corvins run with that, which he'll probably knock it out of the park. Bippity boppity booyah. Okay, now for something a little different. That catches up on the material design. That catches up. Okay, Velopack. Okay, so I streamed a while back building MSIs for Velopack. And I kind of ran down a path, and then I dialed it back, and I tried some other stuff, and I came back, tried again. You can see I've got multiple MSI branches. This has not gone well. But now we have something much closer to working. So close this down for a second, and we're going to switch. Where is it? Velopack. I want 2 things. I want Visual Studio, and then I want code. I want VS Code open. So currently, GitKraken doesn't let you bind multiple editors. So my workaround is I just open code from the terminal, and VS Visual Studio Full, I bind to my keyboard shortcut. So that's my workaround for the moment. I want them to. It'd be really cool. Okay, so here is the game plan, because it's an ugly game plan. So I have a whole lot of stuff in progress on this MSI branch. So the plan, we've gone round and round on this, but MSIs are a hard requirement for a lot of companies that just don't like exe installers. Fine, I get it, right? They aren't our preferred option, but they are somewhat necessary. And we'd previously done a bit of work around making the update process work inside of protected directories. And what I mean by that is like your C:\program files. That is a protected directory that without a UAC prompt, your app is not going to be writing to that folder, at least by default in Windows. Right? So that app is protected. It has been since I think Windows Vista, long bloody time. And so, given that, when we go to perform an update, what needs to happen is we need to download the new package, and then there's a bootstrapper, an update.exe, that lives inside of that package. Now, when we go to install that, we want to use the new update.exe, not the one that's on disk. We want to use the one from the package. That's very important because when it is pulled down, that update.exe, because in Windows you cannot delete yourself, right? Ironically, you can rename your file, but you can't delete yourself, which is kind of annoying. So what we do is a bit of a bait and switch, right? So when the app wants to update, it invokes the update.exe, passes it in some information about like its process and where the new package is and whatnot, terminates itself. Update.exe goes, I got you, does the update, and then restarts the app, right? You need kind of that back and forth communication. That way, one process can gracefully terminate, let the other one replace it, and then get started back up. So for MSIs, that's the current game plan. Is we're going to get in something that can be used to install all users, has some basic UI functionality. We're going to be using Wix 5 just because that's latest, and we looked at Wix 3 and that's what's bundled in, and there's still going to be the MSI deployment tool that's out there, but we're hiding it. Like it still is going to exist, but we're going to hide the options in the CLI. Like it's not preferred. It's not recommended. It's there. It's a hack. And the only reason we're leaving it there is because it existed in Cloud Squirrel and we want to make the migration path for people easy. And so if somebody's using it and wants to keep using it, you can turn the command line switch on and keep getting it. We just don't recommend it. This is going to be the preferred option. So what have we done? What have we done? So inside of here, and actually I'm going to do this in VS Code because I get multiple terminals. Gitkraken only gives me one terminal. So we're gonna play in the area with multiple terminals. So if I go here, so this is in for anybody who wants to play along at home. Here's the Velopack repo. Public, open source. It is free. If you are building a desktop application of any kind, in my opinion, this is the best way of building installers and distributing. Like our goal is to be fast and easy. For that reason, there may be some like more esoteric features that we go, nah, but there's a handful of basic stuff that we kind of feel like really should be in the box. Basic UI, like being able to pick install locations, accept EULAs, those kind of things. Like that's kind of standard. Like that should be in the box. Being able to install current user or all users, that should kind of be in the box. Being able to install services, that should kind of be in the box. So those types of things we're building. The services are going to be coming soon, but the MSI is a prereq for that, so we're trying to get that in first. So that'll be a follow-on. Okay, now if I go here and I go CD samples and I go CD, that is tiny. Let's make that bigger. Make it a little bigger. There we go. And I go CD, or actually, what is it? CD C# Avalonia, right? So if I do this, I've got inside of my dev scripts, there is some lovely little scripts in here being able to build. And I can just build and launch. And if I go and look, I believe what I have, make sure that I'm not telling a lie yet. Let's see. Yeah. If I go and look out in my program files, I've installed this from an MSI. So inside of, actually, explore launch. Right, so inside of this C# Avalonia sample, I've got a published directory where we've compiled the app, and I've got a releases directory, which has been built out with a 1.0. a 1.1 update, and you'll note an MSI. Huzzah. Right? So this was built, Wix, all the things. There's more to do. If you go poke at the code, there's not a ton there yet, but more to come. This was getting it working. And if we launch this app, right, and we'll launch it from the bootstrapper. That's all this one is. You'll know this is tiny compared to the actual executable, but its purpose in life is just to push through. For anybody who plays with our portable installer, that's effectively what this ends up being. Where is it? Ooh, did I kill it? I killed it. Oh, did it? Does it have a dead in there? No. Might have to check that. Bum. What was it called? Is it called C#? No. Bologna? What is the exe called? Side of here. There's the exe. Velopack C# at Bologna. Okay. If this guy launches, I hope he's launched. I don't think I broke him. I broke him that bad. Maybe I did break him that bad. Let's see. Application. Checking to see if he's silently crashing. That would be bad. Oh, look. He is silently crashing. Lovely. So, in case you run into this situation where your app doesn't launch, Windows Event Viewer, Windows Logs application is a great place to look. Velopack update exe apply. Oh. Because we're in the middle of an update. Ooh, it lost its mind and got confused. Okay. We're gonna back this sucker out then. We're gonna back this sucker out. So if I go add remove programs. So beauty of having a MSI, we can go uninstall. It should back it out. And you'll note my file gone. MSI did its job. Okay, and then we're going to go in our dev scripts here, and we are going to actually clear out. Let's clear out our releases completely, and we're going to start over from. Actually, delete permanently. Permanently, please. Yeah, thanks. Let's see. Build. Build.bat 1.0.0. Okay, so the nice part here is this will recompile, like the build scripts inside of the Velopack repo, they will recompile the Rust stuff for you. They will put it all together and package it up, and then it will build the client libraries, reference them inside the demo app, and then build the demo app with a VPK pack. So it does kind of all the things, and then it also sets the update apps. It's mildly complicated, only because we wanted to make our lives easy. But the update location, where is it? Is it in here? You'll note there's this sample helper get releaser. So this sample helper here, it's looking at an assembly metadata attribute that we gen. And again, this is just kind of wackiness, right? But that attribute is being built up by looking at where this project is and pointing it to the releases folder. It's kind of a clever trick, right? You don't need to do this in your own applications. This is one of those areas where we did it because we wanted to make our demo apps easy to demo and show off. This is not likely useful for anyone else. This kind of structure, right? So all samples break down at some level, just like all analogies break down. So this is where these ones break down. Like, feel free to leverage them for how do I set up Velopack, how do I do all this stuff, and you can see we've got quite a bit here in terms of showing it off. Rust, Node, WPF, WinForms, Uno, Unity, Avalonia, C++ Win32, widgets, Qt, and if you don't see your favorite, that pull request. All I'd ask is that you try to make it kind of follow our same structure, but it at least gets it into that vicinity, because we do want to have good sample apps when people go, hey, does Velopack support insert language of choice here? We would like the answer to be yes, of course. And here's a sample, right? That's the ideal answer, right? Because I think we built the WinForms one on, I think we built that as part of one of our streams before, I think. Yeah. Yeah. So generally, you're going to replace this little line here with wherever you're hosting the stuff. Okay, great. We have a new file built right now. Great. Okay. Now we're going to launch. Should run the MSI. Okay. And we don't have it launching the app. There's a lot of things I want to add to this MSI. It's not doing a lot yet. Like, there's no shortcuts, none of that stuff. Okay, now we're going to launch. In theory, the app should fire up and not do anything crazy on. But in case it does, no, I'm not seeing it. So that's not a good sign. Update. So it's hitting main, Velopack app run, update exe apply. Why did I'm confused? Okay, I'm confused as to what I changed that got me into this situation. Do I have 2 copies of Visual Studio running? It looks like I do. Okay, so let's get this guy open first of all, and then let's go see, because the update exe apply is like right here. So I'm curious why the demo app is attempting to fire that immediately. Like, I know why it's failing. It's because it's in a protected directory and I haven't handled that yet. I'm just curious as to why it thinks it needs to call it right now. Because if we look here in the C# Avalonia one, right? So we're coming in here, we're getting in Velopack build, Velopack run, right? Like, if we look at our stack trace from the event viewer, we can see we're in main, then we call Velopack app run. That's calling update exe apply, right? So down somewhere in here, we should see update exe apply being invoked. And there is a local update. We should install it first. So this guy here is coming in. Oh yeah, this should really be a try get. It's not a big deal because it's not like the dictionary is going to be changing, but a try get would save on duplicate lookups. So in order to get to this line here, we would have to be falling into that. Is there any other calls? No. What are you complaining about? Exit can be marked as static. Okay. We'll make you static then. So we have to be hitting here. Latest local. Locator, get latest local full package. Oh. I think I know what I did. Get local packages. Yeah. Because this is looking for the packages directory. Oh. Got myself in the foot. Got myself in the foot. So this is one of those things that's going to take some thinking. So here's the game plan, right? You're installed in a protected directory like program files. You detect that there is an update available and you wish to download and apply it. Previously, what would happen is Velopack would download that package in a directory alongside your apps directory called packages, right? Because normally what would happen is you'd have this app here, there's current, and then there'd often be a, if we do new folder, right? Yeah, I get it. Packages, normally it would download inside of that directory. The problem is you saw that UAC prompt come through. You can't, right? You can't, like, your running app isn't going to have permission to write to this folder. Now, your app may set a manifest or something that says, oh, I always have to run with elevation or yada, 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 right? That would be fine, right? But we don't want to put a requirement on people that in order to use Velopack's updater, you have to be running as admin. That's dumb, right? Now, we are going to prompt the user for UAC access to apply the update because we're trying to write into program files. We're gonna need access at that point. Like that's kind of a given, right? You run for most installers, like you get prompted with UAC prompts when they're writing into the protected directories, right? Fine. The reason this one's biting me is because I did a little bit of work. I'm gonna burn this to the ground. Hopefully there's nothing important being written in my temp directory right now. So inside of my Windows Velopack locator, which is why I was noticing this packages dir was the key thing I was hunting for, is Windows locator. Right? So I did this thing down here with this get packages dir. And specifically what I did is I said, oh, well, let's try to access the regular one. And if that throws an exception, let's try to go out to the temp directory and let's try to look there instead. Right? That was the game plan. Because since we aren't going to have write access, we need to go somewhere where we will. And the temp directory is pretty safe. That's where the temp needs to go. There may be some arguments that it shouldn't be temp and it should be app data or similar. That is up for discussion. But in the interest of getting something working and out the door first, we're starting here, right? If you know of reasons and want to advocate for one or the other, hit me up on Discord. There's the Velopack has a nice Discord channel with quite a bit of activity in it, so feel free to open an issue and we can discuss. So the issue being that I had run this previously and there were, I think I just torched it now. There. There was an update sitting in this temp directory that I had previously downloaded, and it was at 101. Now, when I launch, actually, I should probably get rid of this because we're going to need to change this check. There we go. This is what we're looking for, right? We get, so our sample app is not overly pretty, but it's designed to show off the update process, right? So there's separate buttons. These correspond to different methods on the update manager. In your app, you get to choose when those methods are invoked, right? You get to decide what makes most sense for you. But this is the part that we want to solve here, right? So these sort of permissions level problems are what we are looking to do, right? Because this is writing into the wrong directory now. And so if I kill this and relaunch, because I think it saw that packages directory sitting there, and I don't like that, right? I want to change the check so it looks for if it's writable. Right? So you'll see here it immediately flipped and it's now going out to the like it's subtle, but it's now changed its path to app data local temp, which is the default temp directory on Windows, right? To reach across and do this. And again, it's worth remembering this is kind of Windowsy specific, right? Like, yes, you can get yourself into this situation on other platforms. It's a little less common, right? Windows has made it very common. So generate a new staging ID and it's done all of the details. So what I would like to do first is, instead of this check here of all of this stuff, is we have a function in our Rust code that checks if a thing is writable. And I think I added one in here too. Did I add it? Is directory writable? Yep. So this is the check I actually want to make. Is I would like to do this. So this is actually a clever trick for anyone who hasn't seen it. In Windows, when you open a file stream, you can have this delete on close. So you can open the file stream, use it as a file, read write in and out of it, blah, 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 blah. But then it deletes when you close that file stream. So it's very convenient for kind of having like a temp scratch area type thing. And so in this case, all we're doing is we're just saying, hey, can I write into this directory? Like, and that's all there is. And the names here are very much indicative of what we had done because we wrote this method originally in Rust because we needed it inside of the setup stuff, but I now want it in the client app. So I think rather than doing this, I think what we want to do is, because root apter is going to be, this is going to be C:\Windows app thing. So I think what I want to do is if, what is it? Path, let's see, path util, because I'm talking about program files, but it's technically plausible depending on what level of customization we allow. But because it's an MSI, somebody could always overwrite it. Like it's possible somebody puts it in a different directory that's also not writable. So we just kind of want to be happier with that. Let's see. And I think what I actually want to do is something along the lines of string get writable directory. And then I think what I want to do, yeah, something, you're getting close, Copilot. Path util. Enumerable string possible locations, right? So I just want to do this. And so I think what I want to do here is then return possible locations. First or default path is directory writable. I think this works. I'm kind of wondering if adding this local function might be overkill. Maybe we don't do this. Maybe let's actually do a little more. String possible directories gets. We're gonna do root apter path get temp path. I actually kind of want to do this. Let's see here. And then oh what is am I an idiot? Why? I'm a little curious why this is failing. String nullable. Oh, you want a nullable string. What's up, Deflux? How we doing? We are hopefully getting full MSI support. At least that's what I've been spending my nights on. What is your problem? Oh, I don't have C#12 in here yet. Ah, curse you, old. Um. Well, there we'll just do this. Bring ding 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 ding. There. Oh, that can't be static because it needs to access this. Okay, there we go. Okay, so we got that. We got that. And then we're gonna go with possible directories. where x not null, then you are unhappy because let's see, it wants a string, and let's just, I don't think this function's not providing me a lot of value anymore. So string writable root dir gets ding ding ding, something like that. And then I think what we're going to do is we're just going to do this because I need to be able to tell the compiler to shut up, because I know that x is non-null at that point, because you know that. But unfortunately, the compiler can't make that inference. But you know what? I'm the developer here, not it. Okay, so writable root, and then what we're going to do is we're going to just do, there is a question. Should we create if not exist? I think we should. I think we absolutely should. Is writable path, because I think what I want to do is if directory exists, directory path, I think I want to wrap this sucker up in a try catch, because at the end of the day, I don't care about errors. I really don't. And I have got mismatched curly braces all over the place. Yeah, Copilot, thanks. But you duked other ones. Okay, and then return true. So if we get all the way down to here, we're good. I think what we want to do is this. Fine. And actually, we could, because we're doing this as a function, we can just drop this, drop this, drop this. We'll just make this guy nullable. If directory path is null, return false. Right? Easy. Done. So if it doesn't exist, we are going to directory create it. And then we will return path util is directory writable. And this should all work. And we should really never get into a situation where root app directory doesn't exist, but we could then add in other possibilities down here later. Right? So assuming we find one, if writable root dir is null, unable to find writable root directory package, that seems like a good warning to return. We've done the create if not exists thing. Well, we've only done it on the root, so we actually want to do this. So we want to do this here. And we want this to be writable root dir. Okay. And then I think I want to go with, I think I have a logger here, don't I? Log, and I think I just want this to be trace. Using writable root directory, boom. There. That way we get good output there. This gets us the packages directory. We may need to move this out into other areas, but this will at least get us a good chunk of the way there, because this will also fix the other problem where I created the packages directory in program files, because creating a directory shouldn't magically make this code fail, because it'll get past the exist, but then it'll fail on this. Okay, so that makes me feel better there. Next problem that we have, right? So this technically all worked, and if we build and launch, actually let's run a build so we have one more out there. Right, so I'm going to build version 101. will conveniently contain the updated client with the changes we just made to it. 1.0 does not have those client changes, so it's still going to be an idiot, but that's okay. The next area that's going to be biting us is going to be the update manager download. Where did update manager download go? I thought I had it open. Did I? Let's see. Don't need you. Don't need you. Must have closed it. Oh. Clean up the using while we're in here, and then let's go to the other half of the partial. There. So this guy here has a download something. Yeah, this thing. Right? Download updates. So this guy here has a download update, and the first problem that we run into is these types of things where they're looking to acquire a lock, which is fine, right? This is using packages directory, which is the only one in the Windows locator that's being overridden for this, right? So and this is where I'm trying to be a little cautious about what I get carried away with and what I don't, because the Velopack locator API, somebody could write their own, right? This is very possible to be able to do. And this was an idea that we actually tossed around for a little bit as well. Maybe if they install into a protected directory, we'll just use a different locator, which is kind of a possibility, but I don't know that fixes the problem, right? It just shifts it around a little bit. And so I'm looking to handle the calls in here that are leveraging it, because we've got app content, update exe path, and all of these. And specifically, the update path, find my way back to it. This guy in here, we'll get all the way down to this guy here. And this is what's going to bite us. That's actually, no, it doesn't fix the problem. I was going to say I could swap out the locator, but that still doesn't fix the issue, because we've got this update exe bytes. And let's look at the usages of this path, because ultimately what's looking to happen is the package itself, when it builds it up, right? So we've got 1.0. Right? So if we go and look here, this full package contains the app plus the update exe and a manifest and some stuff, right? It's a zip file with all the useful bits. Because update exe may have patches and similar, and because we need to migrate from Cloud Squirrel, we want to use the update exe that's inside of that package, not necessarily the one that's on disk. Okay, fine, so be it. But update exe is what we need to run elevated. The problem is we need to get that out onto disk, and this guy here needs to land somewhere else. Ooh, Izzy, that is freezing cold. We're actually in your neck of the woods. We're doing more MSI stuff with Wix ish. Well, we've got an MSI built, and now I need the rest of the SDK to stop falling over by making bad assumptions about what directories are writable. So we're chasing access violations. Okay. So this guy here needs to, and he's already limited down to Windows. So this is only going to happen here. I think. Ooh, dang, nabbit. I mean, I shouldn't be complaining too much, but and I don't know the temperature of my current area in Celsius. Actually, here. Let's go. Weather.com. How cold is it? Come on. Nope. Nope. That's not where I want to be. Oh, nope. Stop it. Stop it. Go find me. How cold is it? Well, that's 44, but that's in Fahrenheit. So it's slightly warmer. How do I toggle my units? I don't know how to toggle units on here. I'm 44 in Fahrenheit, which I don't know how close that is to 8.7 degrees Celsius. Must not be that far, I'm guessing. Okay, so here we kind of need to know if the update exe path is writable. So we could just handle it directly. Get directory name update.exe. Because this will extract, but then we're also going to need it because it gets used here, and then it also gets used in the apply code path. I'm kind of wondering if I can override it inside of the locator and get away with that. So let's, because there's only 9 usages. All right, so this possible update exe. Right, because it looks to pull it from multiple locations. If it's not present, we search for a parent, current, or in-app version directory, which could from a nested subdirectory. In an app ver directory, which does not contain a SQL version, in which case we need to infer a lot of info. Right. So this is the hacky bits. There is hacky bits in here because I asked Kalen about moving this, and he seemed real apprehensive because of all of this stuff in here that is legacy. So we might be able to make some assumptions if we are in a non-writable directory, but yeah. This guy here, I'm kind of wondering if I can take all of this and then do a directory check on him. That way this gets overwritten at the right location. Let me look in update manager apply because I kind of want to see where this goes because this is update exe, blah, 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 apply implementation. How does it know where it is? This is the software engineer's tool of the week. 22 millimeter hole saw drill bit. I I could potentially grant you IT admin. Like maybe. It's an unusual way to solve a software problem, but I'm hoping it has to do something with the hardware you code against. Like I'm hoping like I've it's an unusual way to fix. Oh wait. That's just a modern punch card, right? Maybe? Possibly? 22 millimeter hole though. That's a little big. Like trying to think about big? Maybe more? I don't know. Somewhere in that vicinity. Okay, how does it know? It finds the packages, start update exe. How does it know where the update exe is located? Ah ha ha. There. It uses it there. So if the locator were to switch and update exe were to be somewhere else, I'm surprised we're actually looking it up immediately. Feels like something we could look up later. Okay. None of those is there because there's that. So it's used in the apply. It's used to get the directory name. It is used here. And it is used here. Download and apply Delta updates. Right. How does the update exe path get used for deltas? That gets weird. Delta update exe. But in all cases, I want this to be a writable location. Fairly confident I want this to be a writable location. Right? Update exe path, process start info, patch. And so it self patches itself. That's interesting. How the heck does it self patch? Does it do the rename trick? How do you work? How do you work? I am learning so much. Kaylin is somewhat brilliant at this stuff. Let's see. Patch. Show me your patch command. Old file, patch file, output file. Oh, so it literally it's no more complicated than that. Okay. That is about as stupid simple as one could be. Okay. So it literally takes old, new, and literally just applies it, and this is all it is. Base temp directory. App tempter. Where's app tempter? App temp directory. Ah. The temporary directory for this application. Ah. Oh. Oh. I'm an idiot then. Because I used. Where does that get set? Where is that? Is that down a level? Oh. Oh. Got it. Yeah, I've been making a box. Oh, thing. Bought all my test harness bits in iGen to build custom CM5 image. That in order to do factory testing of our actual units with custom Yocto embedded Linux OS. For my next trick, I need to automate it all in many different CI/CD systems as part company-wide business improvement project. That actually sounds kind of fun. Not gonna lie, that sounds kind of fun. The temp goes inside of the packages directory, which I have overridden to route somewhere else. So this works by accident, but it works the way I think I want it to go. Because I was gonna say, oh, I'll change the way how I'm looking at my packages directory to use the app temp directory, but the app temp directory requires the packages directory, so that's exciting. Okay, so this is probably still a good path to go down. But with all of that said, that kind of means that I can change up how we're doing our update exe path. Okay, so I think what we're going to do here is I really like doing this as a lazy because I don't like doing all of this work until we actually need it. Because you shouldn't have to take a hit of us digging up all of your stuff until it's actually needed. Update exe path. There. We're going to do that, and then this is just going to become like this. And then this will be update exe path. You will be happy to know, Izzy, we're doing the MSI stuff, and Windows services are on the docket. We've had a number of people ask for it, and it's quickly becoming our most requested thing. So you solved the most requested thing, and you were one of the requesters. Sadly, this week has been very slow. I've been a taxi driver for the family. Last Saturday, our family car broke down. Drove it into the garage to get it looked at. Ugh. Yeah, that's actually going to be me. And I said this at the beginning of the stream, but I'll say it again for everybody who's here. No stream next week. I will be gone to the Microsoft MVP Summit. Unfortunately, that also means I probably will come back with lots of cool information that I won't be able to share. So, but if history holds true, often at the MVP summit, a lot of what they do is kind of preview stuff that's coming out at the Build conference. So if you haven't signed up at least to watch the session information, that would be a good one there. And pro tip, if you follow any Microsoft MVPs on like Twitter or something, just pay attention when they say, "Hey, this session's going to be awesome." You should listen. That's my advice because it's likely going to be a, "Hey, there's going to be some cool stuff." Yeah, firewall config, registry stuffs, etc. Yeah, so we'll see how far things get. We punted on having the Wix stuff that we do be extendable. That may come back on the docket depending on how much people need, but we've had enough places where it's like an MSI installer being able to do all users and then having some basic level of UI customization and Windows services. Those four things cover our like that's like 90% of the requests we're getting right now from what people want. So we're like, well, that's the top stuff. So we're gonna try to kill it all. And MSI is with Wix is kind of step one into that direction because once we're generating um, that, it like adding more stuff into it isn't that terribly difficult. The biggest discussion is going to be how to have people specify their Windows service stuff because we want to do it in a cross-platformy friendly way so that because we don't want the Windows services to just be Windows because Mac also has services, and so we want some sort of kind of centralized way for somebody to declare their services. Because if you built it in C sharp, in theory, you could declare or deploy into both places. So we'd kind of like you specify one config, we generate your cross-platform installers, and so you end up with a Windows service in one and a Mac service in the other. That's kind of the current thinking. Private string get update exe path there, and then we're just gonna put a whole bunch of the code from up here down here. Actually, can we? Maybe there's a. Is it services D that has a config file as well? That is the way because I'm trying to remember how you specify them on Mac. I think it's like services D has a config file, but only a subset of the options would be valid on Windows. So we may do something that's similar to that because it's a fairly simple yeah, system D, yeah. Because we were thinking of if we go that route, like the one risky part is if you have a format like that you don't fully support everything, people then, well, why don't you support this? Why don't you support that? So it's like we may do something similar and then work our way in. So yeah. Yeah, and XML is a possibility. JSON might be a possibility. I don't like EM. It doesn't feel good because we don't need that much, right? Because we don't intend to expose like the breadth of services. Like we're more likely to build in customization option or things to give people access to be able to inject into the generation rather than expose every possible property because you like we're going to do the popular ones and then say at a certain point kind of have to like inject your own stuff because the amount of customization available will vastly exceed what we want to expose in our little CLI. So I am realizing part of the reason for doing this now. Oh, yuck. So we may not be able to do this as easy and lazy as I was hoping for. Well, in the interest of getting it working, let's scrap this for the moment, and let's do this though. So if path get directory name update exe path is parent, let's see, update exe directory. Okay, so we'll do that. And then we want to do and not path util is directory writable. Right now we gotta adjust because this is the failure case that we're running into. Go back up here for a moment. I may come back to try to defer this at a later point because I do like the idea of a lot of this work being deferred because it's not really needed. Well, problem is some of this is needed early, some of it's not. Never worked on a map, so next home project is to buy one in about 10 years when I've saved enough and deep dive into the file system and see how it all takes. Yeah, and that's the thing is I don't Mac's not my daily driver, but my partner Kalen is much more familiar with them, and so I kind of let him roll. Hey, it TGR is going good. We are attempting to get Velopack to play nice with protected directories. How are you doing tonight? Okay, so if this fails, I think what we might just do is oh, and I appreciate the follow too. Let's promote some of these. Well, I don't really. It's this that I care about. So let's promote that to a real boy method. I think. Private string get temp app root directory. Actually, I guess we can just do this like this because there's no reason this doesn't have to be fancy. I just need it not there. I need it somewhere where I can use it elsewhere. There. Probably move that around later. Okay. That gets me to there. That gets me to there. So if that's not writable, we're going to go with, let's see, update exe path gets path combine temp app root directory update exe. And I am the only one that's giving me pause is this one here. But this one, I think, I just want to make sure that it overwrites before it exe path before it invokes. And this isn't process starting on it; it's applying the Delta package to it. So that's fine. Fine. At some point, I'm going to be building a flow chart of the whole installer updater process. One, my own knowledge because I keep getting my bits confused. And two, because there's been enough questions on it. It would be nice if we had a picture to look at rather than telling people, oh, just go read the source code. Because as somebody who works on it, even I get lost. So, there's that. Okay, so that I think fixes it. Haven't run the update yet. So let's do this. I am going to uninstall this. Hey, find it. Here you go, Windows. Uninstall. Uninstall. Good little MSI. Do your job. Okay, and then I am going to go back here. And I'm going to once again blow away everything so we can start over at 1.0. Not really critical that I do that, but it just, my brain feels better when I do it that way. So terminal is the open terminal shortcut. I just want to open the terminal. The button for it, and I don't remember what it is. Oh, whatever. Terminal, new. Yeah. I don't want a new one. I just wanted this guy back up. Okay. And so we're going to go back to 1.0, build all the things. Yeah, I know, Izzy. I actually shot myself in the foot the other day when I was doing this. And I should go and look and see if I have it. I have it enabled. I did make myself a very problematic state. I don't have it enabled. For anybody who's interested, you Windows features, Windows Sandbox. I just checked it, by the way. So, um, I'm hesitant to apply it now because most Windows features require reboots, and it's really hard to stream a reboot. That's a small problem. And anybody who's potentially not seen me on YouTube, my automation once again broke. Google got a little annoyed at my way of doing things and blocked the account. That's annoying. Not my primary account that's hosting them, but the secondary account I was using for automation. So I have to find a way of doing my automation or bite the bullet and just manually do it. I'm a developer, so you can guess which one I'm likely to lean towards. Okay, so happy new MSI with now the new which should have the new SDK in it with all our fresh bits, which is nice. Then we come back over here, go refresh. There we go there. Yeah, also shot yourself on one of the build servers. Yeah, like I had an install go awry. Thankfully, I knew what it was touching, and so I went and manually undid everything. But yuck, yeah, it was kind of a pain. I was sitting there doing that, and I was like, man, I shouldn't be doing it like this. I technically my default setting was, you know what I should do? I should be doing this inside of a VM. I should not be doing this on my primary. But it's okay. Like I wiped this system like 3 months ago. It's like I could reset it up again. I've got my Winget scripts. It only takes like 4 or 5 hours. Just not what you want to do. Okay, check for updates. Okay. I don't like that this doesn't log out that it loaded from the temp directory, and I know that that's what it did. We might fix that. Okay, so that got us there. Let's build version 101. Because the goal here is to click all the buttons and have it work. That's the goal. And at least now the download button should work, which was not working when we started. So if we can get the download button working, that'll be pretty close. And then the restart and apply will be the next one. I'm hoping that all of that just flows really nicely and it works great. Come on. And you'll know when you compile, when you do run the VPK pack with the, oh, this is actually a lie now. Not running .NET Build. That's a lie. I killed the .NET Build stuff. Even though Wix 5 really likes MS Build stuff, I looked at what they were doing as part of their MS Build stuff and realized that what I need and what their MS Build stuff offers, I don't need any of it. And so I just scrapped it and went straight to their XE instead. For some reason, my thing was writing a temp file in the System32 Windows directory. Then it did a recursive delete while running in LLVA context. Oh, that's not good. That's very bad. That is very, very bad. Once I once went through and did the standard, RM star. What is it? I'm trying to remember in PowerShell, the equivalent of nuke my entire C directory just to see how far I could get. Like it doesn't torch everything, but it definitely leaves your system in a very, very not okay state when it's all said and done. So yeah, don't recommend it. Okay, so now if we check for updates, we found a new update. Yay! Install the update, or not install, download the update. Okay, full release download complete. Package moved to temp. Okay, so it did go to the correct temp directory. It built all of that out, extracted the new update exe inside of this. So I kind of want to go look there real quick. All right, so if I go here, pop my temp, I'm looking for Velopack something or another. There we go. So there's our package. There's our beta ID. It's concerning to me that I see the lock file still here, because I kind of would have expected the lock file to be cleaned up. Why did the lock file not get cleaned up on the download? That bothers me a little bit. Let's see here. Where is there? Where's that lock file? It acquires update lock file. Yeah. Am I missing something obvious? Where is it? There's Velopack lock. Wait, was that? Yeah, Velopack lock got created 2 minutes ago. Does lock file not delete on dispose? Thought it did. It does not delete on dispose. Oh, wait. Yeah, semaphore wait, semaphore delete. I wonder why it doesn't delete. I wonder why it doesn't delete. Is that one of our juniors made a variable in a batch file that is essentially a typo for an environment variable, and the rest is history. We'll never test anyone else's work on build machines again. Yes. Yes. Well, unless they're virtualized build machines. I can allow it in that situation where the cost of failure is shoot it and spin a new one. But yes, can certainly agree with that. Okay, so this thing is not designed to delete. I wonder if it should. That's a different problem. That is not the problem I'm solving now. Not chasing rabbits. I am focused. I am focused-ish. I mean, as focused as a man can be when he's drinking Mountain Dew late at night. Okay. So that worked there. Now, the apply and restart. This is where things are going to also get hairy. Because this guy is going to call apply. That's the plan with my CI/CD investigation. Sweet. Yeah. That, I will say, when you've got a nice CI/CD system set up, it feels good. Like, I don't know. I get this power trip when I have all my little CI/CD agents going and doing my bidding. It's like, I've got my own little army, all of my minions, and it feels nice. That's probably not the way to look at CI/CD systems properly, but it's how I look at them. It's like, I've got my army of little compute. Go, little army of compute. Okay, so this is actually going to look in the packages directory, which will get the right path. I'm just curious, how do it know where the target directory is? Because I'm worried that it's going to infer the apply directory as the packages directory, and that. Okay, let's go look at how apply works, because I am concerned that it is going to do the wrong thing, and that I need to give it another switch, because I have a strange suspicion I need to give it another switch. Okay, because we've only got package, no restart, wait, because without any direction. It has no concept that it needs to go into program files. Yeah, so that's need to paint all my pies yellow. Yes, and little glasses, and preferably some little overalls. That would be preferable. And then you must send pictures. That will be a requirement as well. Let's see here. So apply, because I feel like this is gonna absolutely, like, there's no way this thing knows. Okay, locator. So it's using the locator. IAM update exe. Right. So how, if it is IAM update exe path, grabs the parent, create config, Velopack locator new from the config. So it's going to try to create, okay, so this is not going to work. I need to land in this case because I need it to not use its current location as the appropriate one. I need it to be here. Who else uses this? And what do they do? So locator. So this is just test. Looks like another test. Yeah. I will say I have mixed opinions of it, but it's kind of interesting. Like, I almost like the Rust way of being able to put your tests right next to the code that they test. Like, if there was a C-sharpy way to put my code in like a partial of the class that I wanted to test, and then I could compile it out. Like, I feel like there's enough bits there that somebody could probably build a nice system around something like that. It feels kind of nice because there's a lot of overhead that goes in for being able to do testing and setting up test projects and making sure everything's referenced properly. And oh, well, you're in the wrong namespace for that. And oh, your test namespace should mirror the class under test. It's like there's something to be said about if I could just have a partial, and maybe if I named it, .test.cs, right, and have an SDK that would nicely nest the file for me. Like, it feels like that's what I want. It feels like that's like that. That feels nice to me, right? And then obviously I would not want it compiled into my app when I was actually running. But I'd love to be able to do a build, -- no tests, or maybe -- include tests, opt in rather than opt out type situation. Okay, so the repair dialog is the only thing that actually does it, where it picks the target directory. Auto locate app manifest. This is the only one. Root path. Where did root path come from? Show override repair dialog. Well, who invoked you? Install did. Root path. Root path renamed. Yeah, but where did root path come from? Install 2. Ah, okay. Okay, I think this is what we need. So install 2 is an option to the, okay. It's making more sense now. Setup, so this is something that most people don't know about. And so don't abuse this knowledge of what I'm about to share. But the actual setup exe that Velopack generates does have an install 2 option that you can specify to tell it where to go. Oh, new to Twitch watching. Thank you for the follow. Unless you're a bot, in which case still thank you, but a little less thank you because you're not real. But if you are real, thank you. So the setup exe does have an install 2 option available. And so you can technically take a Velopack setup exe, pass the install 2 switch to it, and it'll install to a different directory. Now, until my branch gets in and merges, just know that the rest of the Velopack SDK does not handle protected directories at all. And you will shoot yourself in the foot. But hypothetically, if you said, oh, I don't want to install to local app data, I want to install to, desktop or something, as long as it's a writable directory, everything should work just fine. So just be aware of that. There's some interesting stuff. But I think what we want is I want this, but I want this on update.exe. Because when we launch from the temp directory, we are going to need some way of telling it where the target directory is, and I can't have it just infer installation directory for the application. So we're only going to name it install to because there's nice symmetry with the other one, and that makes me feel better. Now we need to come down here, and the apply command needs to pull that sucker off. Let's see here. So we need to do this. Need to do this. Where did we put it in the order? 199. I put it right after package. These aren't really in order, I guess. Let's see. Install 2. Let's see. Install 2. That goes there. This goes install 2. You should be very afraid. I'm actually slowly getting good at Rust. Not great. Don't even know if I'm actually competent yet, but I'm getting to be dangerous. I can build things, and I mildly know what I'm doing. Like, I now roughly understand syntax. So, that's exciting. I'm wondering if, now that I want to rename this, it's making me question whether I've picked the right option name. Not my problem right now. Not my problem. Okay. So, what we want to do here is, let's see here. The ternary syntax for this is, I think, if no, there's none of this stuff. If some install to, then I want this, and I want from specified root dir. Oh, there's a way to do this. There's a way to do this. What is the ternary thingy on Bobber? I just saw this the other day. Oh, we need to add in a install to option here. Commas. And then we should probably add some tests into here at some point as well to make sure it passes properly. We'll do that in a moment once we get this thing actually building. Yeah. So where is it? I guess this is roughly what we need to do. The is none check. So if install to is none, then we're gonna do not this, not this. And we're gonna do this, this, this. Right. That gets me to there. Oh, and I don't do my C# brain is still on. Do that instead. That. Right. Else let locator. That is not correct. We want to be, and then we want this to be location contacts from specified root directory. Yeah, we don't like the unwrap option. And how do I do... This is why I feel like I needed that ternary syntax. What was it? It was... I'm going to find it now because I know there's a sample in here where I've seen the ternary bits used. Let's see. I guess match would work too because yeah. There was a bothering me now. Bothering me that I can't think of it. Because I'm trying to learn this. So, not efficient for coding, but much more efficient. Yes. Let locator equals all2 is none match. Like this is like I think this works, but okay, so that gets me to there. What are you complaining about? Wanting that? I'm unclear what is different. Let thingy locator equal not correct. What am I doing wrong here? Here. When in doubt, do this, Control I, let's fix. Oh, I did it in the wrong order. Ah, thank you, Copilot. Thank you. See? Okay, now we have this problem here. Let's see. This wants that. But yeah. It goes there. This goes away. And this is sum? No. Sum is a bool response. This is install2 is an option, and I want to pattern match install. Okay. Okay, let's do slash fix. I want to pattern match on install2 so that when not done, it from provide. Okay. Yeah, like that. Okay, so you don't call. Okay, so this pattern matches the actual option of path buffer. Ahaha. Some path buff. This gives ha 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 ha. Okay. See? I am learning. Thank you, Copilot. You've been a wonderful help. Okay, so this, no, you haven't. Mismatch type, path buff. Assume that's the way to do it. Let me just check that real quick. That how package gets. This guy still takes in package here. And then it gets pulled apart. Going to string instead. That's not quite as helpful as would hope. Okay. But I think that still works. Do wonder if I'm supposed to. I'm still trying to figure out the borrower for the memory. That part I struggle with. Because I have not fully oxidized into my rusty syntax yet. But this gets a install to path, which will then get a different locator, which then should have the apply the update properly. Okay, so I think it will just work. Who knows? Who knows? So let's do this. Let's uninstall again. Uninstall again. Then we're going to go back. Oh, unhappy because it's running. Yeah. Yep. There you go. Have fun. Nuke it. And then I would like to go up here. I'm going to blow away my releases stuff again. I don't have to do this. I could just keep incrementing my version number, but my brain likes version 1. So you know what? We're going with it. Okay. Now we do this, build version 1. This will get us an updated Rust package because you can see there. At some point, I need to figure out how to handle this enum thing. I don't fully understand the warning. I understand that it's complaining about dead code, but when I remove it, it shows in use. So there's something I am not grokking about how it is detecting, or I need to suppress it or something. So I'm ignoring it for now because it's in a code path I don't care about. So, but before the PR merges, it will be addressed. I think our pipeline gets more picky about warnings, which is probably a good way of doing it. Your pipelines in general should be as they should force everybody up to a particular standard. And it is okay sometimes to lower that standard. I'll point that out. Like oftentimes people are like, "Oh, we don't want any PR to merge unless all the tests pass." It's like, well, yeah, but your test suite takes 6 hours to run. That's a nice aspiration, but if you also have the aspiration of releasing quickly, that's a dumb idea. So there's some give and take, and you have to prioritize accordingly. Okay, so we got that. And then you should be empty if I refresh you. Oh, this is the temp directory. Oh, that's a good point. We should probably have the MSI blow away the temp directory on uninstall. Add that to my list. Temp directory. Okay. Get all of that. Okay. Great. We are going to blow away this temp directory because I don't want anything interfering. Okay. Release 1.0 MSI. Hit launch. Installs. Program files. I should see a Avalonia. Yay. And if you're wondering what this little dot portable is, right now the MSI is using the same package. Like we've always been building a portable package, but now that portable package represents the app contents that ship with the MSI. Ooh, that is a good question, JC. So go and look at something really quick before I answer that. Before I put my whole foot down my mouth. Um. There's supposed to be something put out. There's nothing there. So the short version is not good. Um, yeah. Uh, so there's a number of things that have gone on that are not overly great. And a lot of it comes to the layoffs that have occurred at Microsoft over the last like 6 to 9 months. Is there was a big kind of shifting of people around. Some people got laid off. Some people got moved on to other teams. Everybody got bit by the AI bug, and that has significantly adversely affected the system command line stuff. Now, you shouldn't be like what's there is not gonna go away because like the .NET SDK is relying on it, MS Build is relying on it. Like there's no way they can kill it because everything's on it, and they absolutely need to have that because that kind of stuff is critical. However, they don't have a strong motivating factor to keep pushing to getting it all the way like released GA type NuGet package. So I think that's as probably I have a lot of extra information in my head, but I don't think it's public that I'm allowed to share. But I wouldn't count on like a GA update this year at all. That would be my recommendation. So, but it's like I said, it's not going anywhere. It's absolutely a critical piece. Okay, so new beta ID. Like I like that it does that it outputs where the new staging. We didn't fix that. Um, let me go and look at where that's writing out to. Where is that string? Am I blind or stupid? No stage. Oh, no staging user ID. There, that one. Um, I think what I want to do from stage user ID file, I wanted to include the file path on there because that's kind of important, especially since the packages directory we now have moving around a little bit. It seems kind of important that we not just throw that thing away. Okay, so but that's not critical for this. Now we build a second update package. So we've got 1.0 installed, produced 1.1. Suppose I could technically just roll back the manifest and swap in files. Eh, each time I've been changing something about the SDK or similar, so it's like, probably worth it. So this update works. You should also get to see that logging change as well occur. Because the new version of the app should have the new version of the Velopack client library, which has the logging change in it. Doo-doo. Setup package. Come on. Go, 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 little gadget. Go, go, go. Because as soon as I get this built, I've got some apps that need this. That absolutely need this MSI. Okay, so we've got that. We check for updates. Find the update now. There are no local base package available for this update. That's interesting. No deltas could be applied. I'm going to add that to the list because the MSI doesn't install the base package. It can't apply updates. Install. Oh, applied. I need to do that too. Okay, so that will be there. We download. Okay, so we have updated, cleaning up incomplete Delta packages from directory. Good. That all looks normal. Restart and apply. I think. Crossing fingers. I don't know if it's going to work. Something tells me the answer is no, because that would make sense. Let's check our log file. Okay, so why doesn't copy full name? There. Okay, so application. Oh, we didn't pass an application, and so it's attempting to locate the app man. Okay, so we screwed up. By we, I mean I. So we made the new option on update exe, but then we never passed anything to it. That is a problem. Okay. New collection initializer. Yay. I don't know that I like that any better. Okay. So what we need is this start call. That's not it. Let's go to the other one. This one. You're in the past. Do you have a time machine? Yes. Yes, I do. One of the perks. Okay, so we need to know let's see. We need to know if we need to pass a thing. Hey, Sir Kitten Black. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. Welcome. We are having fun with Velopack tonight. Or at least I'm having fun, and there are other people along hopefully enjoying themselves as well. Mountain Dew. Okay, so the question though is how do I know in the update manager if I need to pass a different location? Uh No, see, JC, I think you wanted a couple hours after the lottery. That way, because, Time Machine goes backwards, right? I think you want to go past the announcement and then back to it, I think. If you get it a few hours before, that just makes it harder to guess. uh, the question is, how do I know? What is the trigger for knowing whether I need to look somewhere else? Do I care? Could I always just pass the? I could probably always pass the look blindly. That might be very, very reasonable because I have the locator, and the locator has the root app directory. And I think that's where I want to install to always. I think that's what I always want to do. So I think what I want to do is I want to go here and I want to go args. So I'm going to spell it correctly because that's important. And then we're going to do dash dash install to. Right? And we are going to do args. Thank you, Copilot, for that lovely comment. No, I don't care about that. That's what I want. I don't know why it wouldn't. It's going to require a metric ton of testing. Conveniently, we do actually have several like full end-to-end tests. So I think I can be reasonably confident if they all pass that I haven't broken anything too badly. Okay, so I need 1.0 again because paranoia has set in. We will blow this away. We will rebuild 1.0. Then hopefully app location doesn't show none. Because that should, yeah. Because it gets the package and then it'll get the target app location. And I think it's okay to always have it specify the target app location. Like I realize in a lot of cases it can infer it. And I'm okay with it still inferring it when it's not specified, but I don't know that there's any harm in the client library always specifying it. I don't know that there's harm in that. Because the client library knows where the app is at. So it kind of makes more sense to me that it should pass that through rather than relying on update exe to be able to infer it. Okay, so let's make good sense that we've got it here. Yeah, we got that. Got that. Go ahead and launch that. While it's thinking, we're gonna start the build. Let's see, where we at? Where we at? Oh, we're crashing, aren't we? The temp directory. Yeah, I need to make uninstall blow away that temp directory. That's been mildly problematic. Okay. There we go. No update yet because our thing hasn't finished down here. Let's see. And I think let me pull the pull aside. The I think you can do down here, if I remember right, API reference. No, let's just search. I think it's removedr or remove directory, I think is what it's called. Or there is a remove a folder on all contained files and folders if the parent component is selected for installation or removal. Yeah, I think this is what we want. Yeah, I think this is what I want here. And then I want to feed it in the temp directory that I'm creating. That way on uninstall it blows away. Okay, so check for updates. Found it. Great. Download. Great. Let me go back here real quick. I'm just gonna, in an effort to not hose my log file, I'm just gonna clear it. Then we're going to restart and apply. And hopefully, app location is set. Access is denied. Okay, so it went to acquire the exclusive lock and didn't elevate. Where in this process is it expecting to elevate? Because it needs to be sooner. Ba-bum. Let's see, apply, because we wrote the code, I thought, to automatically. Oh, so here's the problem here. This guy is the try get exclusive lock, but I think the elevation is in here somewhere. Here. Yeah, it's right here. So apply package implementation. This is probably not a bad thing to have, but this is not going to work. So because we are looking to acquire that lock earlier, we're going to need to do it back over here. And maybe the locator should do it inside of here. Let's see, try acquire lock, okay lock. So this is where it is doing. Access denied. I think what I want to do. How do I know if I need? We wrote a method in the shared area that was is path writable, is protected. Let's see, files to include star.rs. Let's see here, because the implementation was just this guy is local machine install. Don't know that that's what I want to do though. I really just want to say if it's, I don't know if I like that quite as much. What we had it directory writable. This is what I want. This is what I want. Here. So what I want is this to be here. The issue being this is not a Windows only thing. Let's see here. We can do the pound iffy stuff here if we need to. That may be the path of least resistance. I'm just looking at this because I'm gonna need this here. I need that at least. Oh, wait, where am I? Oh. Oh, this might be the wrong place. Should it be up here? should it be up here? Wonder if it should be. Might make slightly more sense up here rather than down lower. And where is the conditional code for Windows? You do it like an attribute thingy. As you can see, yeah, this. You do this. This used to turn on. This is the Rusty equivalent of a pound if. Right, and then you can do Linux or whatever. Right, but in our case, we're Windows. We want to do this. So on Windows, and I think what I want to do is locator get here is string. I don't remember. Is this what do you take? I want path buff there. And this is colon question mark, I think. Good luck, Izzy. Have a good day at the grindstone. Don't work too hard. I will see you in 2 weeks. 2. I can count that high. Locator get root dir is string. What I want. Let's see. We want to go there. I think just doing it here is probably what we want. Rather than trying to do it in here, let's not do it inside of the local. Yeah, throw that file away. Thanks, Izzy. I will. I'll certainly try to have a good trip. Says there's red. Why do I see red? Cargo, hurry up. Did I? Yeah, I was gonna say, you're lying to me. Okay, so I think that will get me there. There is a bit of a sweeping assumption here in that this is going to be right, but not writable. Like, if it's not writable, I actually want to process where, like, I know there's, I want to run as admin. Where is our call for that? Process elevated. Restart self as admin. There we go. That is what I want. Yeah, that is what I want. So, process is elevated. We'll bail. Else we will relaunch self as admin. We're going to need to build the args up for it. And this is actually a good place to do it because we're going to need all these args anyway to be able to do this. And in this case, I don't think we panic here, but stop helping me. I'm trying to type. Okay. So this guy here, we need to, I know we've got samples of where we've built these up before. Relaunch self for admin. Yeah. Basically something that looks kind of like this. And then you pass args in. And so we do this, do something like args, and then we question mark, which is the rusty way of saying throw exception on failure, and then relaunched administrator. That'll work. Okay, so now we just need the args. So if I think what we can do here is we can actually just go. So we just need to know what we were specifying because that is the equivalent of here, right? So we know we are in the apply case. Need to be there. So the first thing we want is args push apply. And we want to get that in there. And then I think silent was being done earlier. See here. I do wonder if maybe it should even be earlier than that. Well, no, let's not get too carried away because we need to know the locator to get the target directory to know if we need to elevate or not. So let's not get too carried away. Silent. Is silent not passed further down? Where did silent get read from? Get flag or false on matches. Silent is going to get dropped in the current setup because we don't include it. But we should be able to get it because we have the matches here still. I think it's the same matches. Trying to look and see. Because silent came from getting the flag or false from this matches. This matches here gets parsed into subcommand string, subcommand or else. Don't know if this has it on here or not. Where else do we pass silent? Where does silent go to? Dialog set silent. And it gets written out, and that's literally the only place. Okay, is this something we can read? Yes, get silent. Lovely. So if we come down here, we can do if dialogues get silent, args push silent. Okay. String. Okay, that goes there, that goes there, that goes there. All right, that's roughly what we did all the way through. Okay. Then after apply, I think then we come in all of the other options. So we have install to is first. So if install to, stop writing is some, right? Let's see, that how we unwrap the path before. Install to string lossy string. Okay. Oh, there. This is the magical thingy mabobber. That's what I was looking for. That's the pattern matching syntax. I knew I'd seen it somewhere. There. Let's see. Local variable. Hold on. How is this working? Got it. This thing should probably have underscores in it. Got it. Okay, so we're gonna do that just to make them all match. Okay, so that goes there, goes there. Yep, and then we come down here. Cool. That. Goes like that. That goes like that. That goes like that. Okay, great. That gets that going. Okay, and then we want package. So if let some package do that. Okay, then wait PID. So if an operation wait, I don't know what to do with that. What is an operation wait? Get op wait. I want the PID. Wait, hey. So, can I get that value back out of it? I think I can. Should install to have an underscore in setup exe. Not so the only at present no. There is an argument to be made that readability. The answer is yes. Though right now it's kind of one of those hidden options that I don't expect people actually leverage because there's a lot of the SDK that doesn't really support it at the moment. So yes, but no. There's that for the EXERs, but that doesn't handle the wait. So wait. How do I get out? How do I get out the problem is I've lost the PID. I've lost the PID on this. Get operation. Because I really want because in this case we're just doing wait PID. What is the actual options up at the top allow? You'll note this is hidden. There's wait and wait PID. How do I do this well? Because if wait PID is specified, going to go that route. I think we can get, this is an enum though. Wait a minute. This is an enum. Oh, this is what I want right here. This is what I want. I think what I want to do is this. If wait, then we just want to throw most of this away because this then becomes arg push wait ID push to string. Copilot, you're on point. What goes here, Copilot? Here, I'm gonna help you. Gonna get it right. I'm shocked. I think it actually did it right. What's it? Okay. Okay. So that should forward, right? We've got restart. Oh, we didn't handle restart. Where did restart come from? Really not handle that? Okay. What is restart? Got it. So it's only if restart is false, we specify dash dash no restart. Got it. Okay. So seriously, Copilot. Thank you. Anything else you want to help me with? So we did the wait. We did the package. We did the app location, which is the install to, and we did the event args. I think all of that works because this I think matches what the lovely Copilot did for me here. Yeah. Okay. And then this will early exit because if the directory is not writable, we only have one option. Elevate as admin or die. So, okay. So I think that gets us to there. Let's go back and rinse repeat again. Recycle bin. Build 1.0, and then I want to go torch the temp directory. I don't want that to get in my way as it has been. And then I want to go here and I want to uninstall. At some point we're going to go through and get rid of the, we'll have the MSI actually remove that temp directory from me too. It shouldn't be terribly difficult. That is just in the Windows pack bit. Because it's just down here. Yeah, it's just generating. It's literally just generating a Wix file and then sending it. That is all. That is all it is doing. This is a lie now. Yeah, because I fought with this for a little bit and then realized that we can literally just go straight at Wix.exe. Call it a day. And everything just kind of works. Okay, so there's that. Installing the MSI. All right, I was trying to drag the thing over. And then program files should have Velopack, C# Avalonia, launch the bootstrapper. And it launches. We check for updates. There's nothing there, as expected. Start building 1.1. And hopefully this time around, it should prompt. It should prompt on the update exe when it goes to invoke it for the UAC prompt, which is kind of hard for me to stream because does my screen black out when my UAC prompts are popping up? I don't know. Like, I can't tell what's streaming because it covers over everything. So I don't. I've never actually gone back and rewatched to look and see how that actually renders. Might have to do that because it feels like I don't know. I wonder if it actually captures that because the UAC prompt is like above everything. Come on. Build, Wix, build. You are slow. Okay. Check for exe. There we are. Download package. Great. Restart and apply. UAC prompt. Yes. Mildly concerned as to what just happened, but I think it launched. I can see you. Okay, well. So the one thing that is immediately apparent to me is this log file here. So this log file gets created when the when Velopack is able to write to the applications directory. When it's unable to write to the applications directory, it falls back and writes the one inside of temp. So if you just hunt velopack.log, you will find this file, and it is incredibly valuable for figuring out what's going on. So this was our last one, right? So 2345 is our new startup one. So location, command, all this stuff, restart true, PID, package, boom. Failed to open directory for writing, right? So which is good because this is the directory test. Access denied, right? That's what we expect. Successfully relaunched as administrator. Starting Velopack updater. So this one went through again. I feel like I want to add a bit of log here to say, are we elevated? But that will slow us down unnecessarily. But maybe if like the verbosity is set high enough, we do it or something. Let's see, auto locating, app manifest, package directory, failed to wait for process, the parameter is incorrect, continuing. This is interesting. Is like the reason it probably failed to wait for process is the source process was already dead by that point. Because this is the process ID of the Avalonia app. Let's see, getting ready, applying package 101 to current 1.0, checking prereqs, apply hooks success, hook executed successfully, checking for running process, package applied, about to launch with arg0. The parameter is incorrect. That's not real helpful. But we got real bloody far down this path. That's pretty good. Let me just manually launch the app and see what it did. So, despite the fact that it says it failed to launch, it actually did. It actually, where is it? It actually did update to 101. So that much is good. So except for the restart, it did pretty good. Material design XAML, are you dropping net 6? Yes, at some point. I'm not rushing to drop it only because nothing is prompting me to do so. However, the moment I run into issues with like pipelines or similar because the tooling stops being there and supported, I will probably kill it. But at present, there's nothing immediately pushing me to drop net 6, so I'm not doing so yet. This is going to be one of the weird things with the way Microsoft is doing their updates. Like, I want to make sure it's running supported, and I usually have had the policy of I will support a framework as long as Microsoft does, and then when it drops out of support, we'll see how things go. There is an interesting. I'll show this off. So Hero Devs, I believe they got their start with Angular. But if we look at their .NET one, they have what they call their never-ending support. I always see NES and I think of Nintendo Entertainment System, but that could just be age. but they've got never-ending support for old versions of .NET, which is interesting, right? For people who maybe aren't ready to do a migration or can't for some reason, um, this is an interesting alternative. I'll put it that way. Yeah, potentially more to come on this front at some point. So, but it is worth checking them out. .NET is new to them. They've I think most people probably know them from their JavaScript frameworky stuff, but they're dipping their toes into the .NET space with at least .NET 6 support. So yeah, so not currently killing it, but I would encourage people to look at migration options. Because most of the time, if you're on Net 6, the difference between being on Net 6 and Net 8 is changing the value in your project file. Actually, that easy. So I realize there may be other dependencies and things going into it, but if it's just like WPF material design, it's probably the difference between a 6 and an 8, ignoring potential other dependencies and pipelines and all the stuff that goes along with that. So ignoring that stuff. Okay. So let's find this about to launch and figure out what the heck we did wrong. I think we got real close. Okay, so I assume we came through the start package. Let's see. String and args and working directory. And we've got 3 of those logged. Environment, probably not relevant, and show window, probably not relevant. So in our log then, because it did actually walk through initializing Windows Velopack locator, update exe and parent directory, located valid manifest. Like it did all the things. And then more importantly, like it even made a package directory with a temp directory. It's got the lock file in there. Like it did all of the stuff that it was looking to do. Okay. It's just this. Package version applied successfully, about to launch. So I want to just make sure that this is in fact our call stack. I would like to find this string. Let's see, apply. Yeah, so it's going to be in here. So package applied successfully. If restart, start package. Yeah, that works. And so the change here is going to be the difference in the locator. And I wonder if I'm wondering if this needed to be escaped. Yeah, the parameter is incorrect. Like that is just not helpful. But I am wondering if that is the kicker. If that guy, if he does, I don't quite know how to do that. But let's see what this method's doing. Run process. So it gets an OS string, gets the exe name, builds the args. End of the day, where does this go? Make command line. Oh, this scares me. Make command line. Always quote the program name, so create process to avoid ambiguity when the child process parses. Sorry. We put quotes around arg0 and then space push in the other args. The problem is I see something like this and I'm thinking it's causing extra escaping when it otherwise doesn't need to. Right? It's kind of what I'm thinking. Because this guy here, he's wrapped in single quotes. I think that implies that the value already has quotes around it. And I am wondering, encode wide. Let's see here. So I only want to add quotes if the string doesn't already have them. I'm wondering if it added another set of quotes. Let argv0 target. I think let's see. If quit doing it, starts with, and I want to do this guy, right? I think. That's what I want. Format. These. Let's see. The trait bound. Oh, so it wants more like that. Or actually, I think it probably wants that. Okay, Copilot, help me. Expects a string or similar type, but is a U8. To fix this, instead of a byte literal. No. I actually do want a byte literal. Close. Oh, it is happy. It's just slow. Okay. If not ends with, then we'll push that in. Thinking that might be it there. Is based on the log, I think it just added an extra set of quotes where it didn't need. And let's look at the directory. Where did that directory get put? Working dir. Is that the only usage of it? Like it? Where do you get used? blind or stupid? You get used here on create process. Okay, so you're just pass through. You're probably okay, but what do you do? I don't know what derp is. I mean, I know what derpy is, but no, I don't think that's the same as derp. OS string, ensure no nulls. Totally fine. This low level stuff makes my head hurt. Okay, let's give this a shot. See if my theory on the quotes is correct. I feel like making the code just handle both cases is probably reasonable. Probably. I spent a great deal of time fighting with command line argument stuff and quoting and paths and oh dear heavens. I was convinced I had found a Rust bug for a while until I found out that no, it's a Win32 issue and Rust is just surfacing it. So that made me feel warm and fuzzy. Yeah, very, very excited. Kind of want to put the MSI into its own separate thing because the MSI, and I may end up just seeing how long it takes. I may go split it out because it doesn't need to be dependent on the setup package. The MSI is dependent on the portable package. So once that's done, it can rock and roll. Okay, so if I go back here and I relaunch, right? So we've got this, and then we're gonna check for updates. We can see that it did in fact load out and tell us where it loaded the path from. Interesting that string breaks there. Huh. Kind of a weird string wrapping. Found the release, download. Okay. So it actually did a Delta package update. Hang on, that means it did the Delta package update in the temp directory. Oh. That. Oh, that is clever. That does make sense that it would work that way. So the Delta packages, they're small because it goes through and it builds up something similar to like a Git patch file. Like that's not what it's doing, but this is just conceptually, right? But it knows the binary deltas between files, so the delta updates are much smaller, and because it had the 101 package down there, it's able to apply the delta to it and get the 1.0.1 package up to a 1.0.2. That package moved to, yeah, it updated. Oh, that is okay. So when I do restart and apply, what are you going to do? Is applying the install. It did UAC prompt. Did not launch the app. It doesn't appear. Let's scroll down and see if we see the same error. It's going to be the bottom one. About to launch, parameters incorrect. Okay, so we figure out why. Like, what is wrong with this? Yuck, yuck. Okay, so short version is we got to get the restarty bits working here. But I don't. I also wonder if this is supposed to look like this. I don't know. I don't think so. May end up having to add more logging into this to be able to track it down because I don't see it. I don't see it. We're going to commit before we do too carried away. JC, have a good day at work. Thank you for coming and hanging out. Always good to see you. They're all fine. Those are just white space cleanups. Actually, you know what? Let's unstage the process one because I don't know that I actually want that change. Okay, but I do want that change. I do want this change. I do want this change. Maybe not those two lines. But I do want this. I do the extra use. That's fine. That's fine. That's just deleting dead code. Okay. Working MSI updates. Okay, so the updates are now working and flowing and happy and moving. And we're going to rebase because I like being on latest. Then is after midnight, so we may call it here for the night and see where that gets. May reach out to Kalen to have him check my stuff and see. Let's see. Force push that sucker. You can see long string of stuff. But okay, but this at least gets something going. So I think I may call it there. Once again, I do appreciate people coming and hanging out. Always like the new follows. Again, no stream next week, so I will be back on in 2 weeks from today, which is like April 3rd or 4th or whatever 14 days from now is for you. That's when you can expect to see me, but subtract a few hours. And then we will be back on. As always, like tell everybody happy coding. See y'all next time.